Hello and welcome to Spaghetti Johnson podcast. My name is Gareth,
My name is Bruce.
and we like to talk about things. We just don't know where they are going to go. Greetings from the side of the New Zealand world to your side of South Africa. Um,
Greetings from a very rainy Joburg.
yeah, no, here, weather-wise, it's been mostly sunny. So,
Lucky
um,
you.
yeah, well, it's on its way to being winter, but so far so
Yeah,
good.
same here.
Yeah, yeah.
I only just
Anyway,
I only just took my beanie off.
I actually saw that. Um,
Yeah.
okay, wicked. Well, we're going to go straight into this topic because it's quite a big one. This
Yeah.
is based on a series called Adolescence, which is one of the latest Netflix original series, and it's made quite a big, quite a big. It's made a very big. I would a big noise. It has basically um, become pretty big.
Mm.
In um, on the news outlets and the news media and blah blah blah, talking about you know the plot line for it, and it's really making people, for example, like us, having a chat about it. Having a chat
Yeah.
about the series and the inner topic behind the series. If you haven't watched Adolescence, um, I think me and Bruce will do our best not to do um any major what's the word,
S- Spoilers.
spoilers, but I mean it's really it's only 4 episodes, and it's really not something that I don't think there are spoilers in general, unless you don't want to know, like, did he or didn't he. Apart from that, I think you're safe. But if you really don't want to hear all this, then if you do have Netflix, give it a watch. One really interesting thing about the series, which I didn't realize until I read about it, I was like, oh yeah, every episode they film on one camera the whole way through. It's a
One
constant
shot.
shot. It's a constant
Yeah.
shot, which I
One
found,
take.
yeah, which is incredible because you got to
Yeah.
remember lines and remember where you're walking and how you're walking in and out, and you got to remember that for about 45 minutes to an hour. So I think each episode's about an hour, about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So
So what it
it's
yeah.
quite incredible how they do that.
Yeah. Well, I was actually talking to someone last night who we got into talking about the series, and he went and did a bit of a deep dive into how they did it, and they shot each episode up to 10 times, so 10 takes, and then chose the best one out of those 10 to actually become the
Hey,
episode that you see. Up to
holy
10. So some of them
crap.
were maybe shot less, but they would run, and so everything was rehearsed, storyboarded, all the movements, all the camera shots, everything rehearsed.
It's
And
crazy, yeah.
then they would do, I think, 2 takes a day, but do 10 of each episode. So 40 40 different takes. And then
40
of
weekly,
those,
40.
because 10 each episode got 4 episodes, each got shot 10 times.
Oh, I see what you're saying to me. Okay.
Yeah. So then they had all of that material, and then they would, then they had more opportunity to go, okay, those lines weren't great, but over there, that one did the really great performance. So we're not going to worry about him fluffing those lines. We're going to take this episode because that performance really worked, kind of thing. And they had this whole choosing thing of how they actually put it together. And the way they did it with the camera movements, going into the car,
Correct.
going onto a
Yeah.
drone shot, it was like, what? So if you
Yeah.
watch it from a production
It's
value,
really
rather
good.
than if you
Really
put
good.
anything else aside and just watch it as like someone who's interested in filmmaking, it's like
Yeah.
crazy good the
Yeah.
way it was
I
done.
mean, I think I get what you're saying. I think well, I think when they're doing one shot, one take, it basically means that you can't take another part of the shot from a second. So basically, it was done 9 times, and number one is great, except part three is wrong. So you can't take part three from take number four because otherwise it loses. So I would imagine, though, if they got to a point where it was just they got one that was like really good, like they just felt that it was
They're like,
good.
you know what? Let's stop.
Let's not play
That was
games. Yeah,
awesome. Everything was great.
yeah.
Let's not.
So
Let's
I
not even
mean,
try for another one. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, the actors, actresses, incredible. If you can do that, one take,
Very well done.
that, and the whole emotions and everything. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was just a geeking side. That
Which
was
we
just a
tend to
geek
do.
side. Yeah. So adolescence is basically to do with this family. The boy is what, about 14 or 15, I think. I can't remember his age. He's about 14
I
or
think he's. I
15.
think he's actually 13 in the show, as far as I
Okay,
remember. I
13.
think he's
Okay.
13. So
Uh,
just heading into adolescence,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
So.
And basically, it's so difficult not to say anything because it'll spoil the story. Okay, I think we're just gonna have to warn people in advance. If you don't want spoilers, go ahead and watch Adolescence before you carry on with this conversation. I think it's easier.
Probably a
I
good
think it's
idea.
way
Yeah.
easier. Sorry, otherwise we're gonna be. Oh, no, I can't say that. Can't do that. So yes, if you haven't watched it, watch it, and then if you're not going to watch it but you want to have an idea what's happening, well, welcome to it. Anyways, so it's broken down into 4 episodes. The first is the arrest of the boy. The whole opening sequence and everything is really good. They're basically the police. What surprised me, it was the a number of police that they put in there just to get one person.
That was. Yeah. I thought.
It
Did
was
they
so
really do that?
many. It was like a SWAT team going in, and this poor little boy who's 13. Uh, so basically, yeah, they basically bang their way through, and you're thinking, oh, okay, they are obviously going for the father or some person. No, they actually end up and they arrest this 13-year-old boy, which in itself is crazy. Why?
Yeah.
Why? It then goes into a whole discussion where he is basically he's charged with the murder of a schoolgirl, and then from there onwards, well, yeah, and then that then kind of goes into a whole long conversation. Did he do it? Didn't he do it? It discusses also a pivotal thing that we are going to discuss now. It talks about about his viewpoint on women. Now he's 13, and the whole viewpoints as to how the word the sorry the word incel is used
Yeah.
to describe what this boy might be because of how he treated this girl. And if you watched it, he it looks like he killed her. Um, and it's all discussed as to like why would he do that, what made him do that, what drew him to that, and a lot of it that came out of it was how he saw women, was how this kid, 13,
Mm.
what his worldview and what his views were on women. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like where we can chat more about it. And then on episode 3 is when there's I found episode 3 very powerful because it broke down who the boy is.
Yeah.
It was the boy who was basically in prison, and he had a session with a psychologist.
Yeah.
And if there is one episode to watch, thinking about the series and about incels or not incels, that's a really good one to watch. It's
Yeah.
very powerful. It shows a lot of flaws within the boy, how he can be all nice and charming and quiet, and then the next moment his back's up and he's angry towards her, and he's angry towards her that she's a woman, And I found the ending of that episode very powerful,
Mm.
where he spoke to the psychologist. I think that's what she was. And she basically said to him, "Okay, cool, that's all done. I'm done. See you later."
Yeah.
And all he wanted at the end was he says, "Do you like me? Do you like me?"
Mm.
All he wanted was
Affirmation.
validation slash affirmation from
Mm.
this woman figure, and it
Yeah.
showed right at the end. It was like, wow, okay. It just so yes, if there is an episode to rewatch, I would say episode 3. Anyways, and then
Yeah.
4 obviously goes into the family fallout. Everything going on with the family. His the oh, and it also, which is very interesting, which is linked to what we are talking about, is the conversation between how his father sees his son, how his
Yeah.
father treats his kid, and his father
Mm.
talks about, and it's something which the boy spoke about in episode 3. The
Mm-hmm.
father talks about it in episode 4, where he thinks back to a moment in sport when he took his son to play, I believe it was football, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, in the game, he sucked. That's that's what comes across from his dad.
Right.
And
Mm.
his son was basically being looked at and laughed at by the other fathers. And in that moment, the father did nothing. He did absolutely
Ah.
nothing because he felt embarrassed. He didn't know what to do. And that's one of the pivotal moments within this boy's life. It's
Mm.
to somewhat small, but when you see the correlation,
Correlation.
oh, wow, not
Correlation.
even close. Correlation, thank you very much.
Yes.
Between what the boy went through and what he experienced.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, what he went through was saying, my dad didn't defend me. My dad didn't say, no, he's not that bad. My dad did
Yeah.
nothing but watched. And
Mm.
the father has that moment as well, where he
Mm.
feels guilty. He's like, I should have done more.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing which he thinks back to. And that talks about validation, about how kids at that age, and I remember it, um, you just, especially as a guy, you
Yeah.
want some form of validation, yes, from your mum. But to me, this is me, and I think,
Masculine validation from your father.
yeah, I think it's like expected from your mum. No, not a horrible.
Yeah. Mm.
It's a natural thing from your mum, but not everybody gets that, by the way, from their mum. So don't get me wrong here.
Yes.
But um, to a lot of boys, their mother has a. It's easier to get some form of, you know, feelings and and validation. Where with the father figure, a lot of us have been brought up with the father figure who's very serious, who's super busy, um, um, busy in the sense where there's so much going on in their lives that they just don't have time for their
Yes.
kids.
Yeah.
Some, not in a horrible way. Life is just super busy. Life is going on. You do want to spend time with your son. That's a huge thing. Just things get in the way. And then there's the other
Yeah.
half where the fathers just don't give a crap. Just
Just
whatever,
completely absent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave, absent. I don't give a shit about you, kind of thing.
That's it.
And with this boy, I think his father loved him. I do
Mm.
believe so. I do believe so. It was the question actually, which, and this is being very real with you now. I actually asked that to my mum about a week ago. I actually said to her, do you think dad loves me? Because I had this, it's actually so interesting. It was
Yeah.
at a church, church group I go to, like every second Tuesday. And it's
Is that the
basically,
men's? That's the men's group that you
it's the
do.
men's group. Now they're called
Right.
rad dads because everybody are dads
Everyone's
with
there.
at least 2 kids, besides me, that is neither. And I haven't got any kids that I'm aware of. No, I'm not. I don't have any.
Yeah.
But this is so interesting. The discussion there was also about father figures and about
Yeah.
fathers,
Yeah.
and it's such a defining thing in young boys' lives, even men.
Yeah.
It's that interactions with their fathers, and the
Yeah.
fact that I had to ask my mum, and I'm almost 50, and I messaged my mum, since then because it was a really good topic, and I was like, okay, wow. Um, Now I think intrinsically I know that you know that your dad loves you, absolutely. But emotionally, I said to my mum, I know it's a strange question, but do you think that dad loved me? And she said, yes. Maybe he didn't show it. And it's true. Um,
Yeah.
I know he did.
Yeah.
Um, the interactions, it was easier with my mum
Yes.
as me.
Myself, I completely agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah. For me, it
Yes.
was exactly the same.
Yeah, because I think it's extremely hard to. I guess it's a question as to from the fathers to the sons, from the sons to their sons. It's like this whole mantra, and this also is a link, I think, to the series and so forth. Sorry, I will. I promise I'll give you a shot in here. I'm just
No, dude, please. No, this is good. This is good stuff.
okay.
I'm busy working up my thoughts as I listen, so it's all good.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks, bud. Yeah, this is really not kind of where the planning was, but we just don't know
Don't
where it
worry
goes.
about it. We just don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah. So, yeah. So the whole thing of, and this is a link. There was a conversation, and we won't really talk about him because I pretty much do agree with Bruce on this one. He's all. I mean, he's been in conversations for so long, and now he's just like not that relevant. His name is Andrew Tate, and I was like, you know what, we need to, we need to do this whole thing on Andrew Tate. And Bruce was like, well, he's just not that topical anymore. And I
It's
said to
not.
him, that's actually very true. The fact though that he's in a series in 2025 and his name's being brought up, I do know that he's a name that's used a lot, especially in the UK, because that's where he's from.
Mm.
So we won't really, but the whole what's it called manosphere, the
Yeah.
whole the whole thing of, and it does get discussed in the series easily in episode 2 and 3,
Too.
where
Yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it does. Where it speaks about how a lot of guys are brought up with this thing of boys don't cry, boys don't show their emotions because it's a weakness. Um, and it's this whole thing of be tough, don't let anybody else know exactly how you're feeling, and I,
Mm.
and that is part of the manosphere, which we can break into now or later. That doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
But it talks about the manosphere where you're brought up on this whole strong man, strong thing. Let's go, and that is something that's been with men. I think if you can look back and you has been with men for, I wouldn't say forever, but for a very long time. And each
Mm.
generation tries to, I feel not each, I think a lot of people say, okay, that's how my dad was. I know he loved me, but he didn't show it. So I'm going to do my best now not to let that happen.
Mm.
And a lot of people get that right. A lot of people, it just falls back into normality, not because they're horrible fathers, not because they're
Yeah.
not loving fathers. It's just the the physical side of it
Yeah.
isn't shown easily. So going back to what I was saying, and then I'm going to move it on to you, is that whole discussion with the boy about a lot of people would say, well, why are you talking about this one sports event? That event changed.
It was
That
pivotal.
that event was pivotal in the formation of his manhood.
Yeah.
Crazy, where he just wanted his dad to defend him, or his dad just to say something. But his dad went silent, didn't look around, didn't defend his kid, said nothing. And also, you'll see how a pivotal moment it is with the father figure when he realizes he did that and he could have done something more, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And I find this series is not just about the boy, but also about being a father. Men in general, I think it's so, yeah. So hopefully some of that unplanned conversation makes sense to some people, but
Yeah.
it's a very powerful series. It really asks a lot of questions, and I'm interested to see where you want to go with this. But thank you for letting me talk so long.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I gotta be, yeah, I mean, you and I are pretty much, we're a couple of years apart in age. So our our fathers are fairly similar, I think. Yeah, we were both fortunate that our parents did not divorce or whatever. Unfortunately, your father did pass away a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And we didn't experience divorce and being raised by parents separately and that kind of thing. And yeah, and I'll agree with you on that with regards to how my relationship with my dad. It's my relationship with my mom was a lot more emotionally based, and that's very typical. A boy's relationship with mother. Boys go towards the mom a lot. The daughter goes towards the dad a lot. It's a very normal thing that any psychologist will tell you. You'll have a stronger bond with the opposite sex parent than you will with the same sex parent. The dad and the son are normally the ones that butt heads. The mom and the daughter normally butt heads.
Yeah.
And my dad has never really been very sort of strong on the whole physical touch and words of affirmation. But in a lot of ways, it hasn't affected me negatively. He was always around. That's the thing. It wasn't like he was an absent father, and we did so much together.
Yeah.
But he does come from that old school of not being overly loving with words.
Yeah.
But he was still an incredible provider. Taught me so many good life lessons. Spent time with me.
Yeah.
He was present.
Yeah.
And that is enough.
Yeah.
That is enough. That was enough for me. It was great. And I will always be thankful for that. And yeah, unfortunately, with so many boys now, yes, the mother and father might not be divorced, but the father could possibly be even more absent with regards to his just emotional support when it comes to his kids. Like you were saying, like he's in a situation where he sees his son, especially his son, but maybe even his daughter, being ridiculed, being bullied, and then not stepping up as the defender like he should.
Stepping up is a good word to use.
And going, putting his pride aside and going, no, that's my child, and you don't do that to my child.
Yeah.
And being that protector, because that's what a father is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it can, and at the right and wrong place, wrong time, that can instantly create such a huge like chasm in a child's life.
Yeah.
Whether it's a son or a daughter.
Would you think that the boy would have taken that on to a point where maybe that would become part of their behavior sometime? The defending of somebody, or I guess sorry, this is very long thought. Maybe when he's a father, would he have the
Yeah.
same problem, or would you be able to learn from it? But that's another discussion. Carry on.
Yeah. No, I think you could either take that on and do exactly the same thing, or learn how to learn to do that in order to sort
Yeah,
of break a
yeah,
particular cycle if you've seen that carry on.
cool.
We don't know. I
Carry on.
think that depends on the
Yeah.
individual.
It was just a random thought. Carry on, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, oh, okay. So yeah, I think what I must say, what I would have preferred, if we can just go back to the series.
Yes.
One thing I would have been interested. I was kind of waiting for this, which also led me to feel a little bit kind of let down by the series in a way.
Yeah.
Is that I think I thought that in the episode 3, with the discussion with the psychologist, with the female psychologist,
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't feel like they sort of touched on the whys about why he did what he did. But I would have preferred for them to have gone more into it, and for him to have talked more about what made him so angry with these interactions with the girl, that pushed him over the edge to to resort to think that a violent act would be the next logical um, step. And we did see it. I mean, she did. He was angry because she had said things to him, either face to face or in her Instagram
Yes.
comments
She.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
She was super
And
horrible.
let me tell you something. And yeah, as a young kid, as a young boy, you know, your entire life, you're 13 years old. Your entire life is girls. You just like girls, and then when you get rejected that harshly,
Yeah. At such a young age.
obviously you're going to react angrily. But not everyone gets pushed over the edge to that extent.
No.
And
Agreed.
I felt I was kind of waiting. I'm like, okay, why? Let's talk about this. And they tended to kind of skirt the issues, and they didn't. She could have asked so many more pertinent questions,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just feel that she didn't. And I'm like, yeah, I think you guys dropped the ball.
Mm,
There was so much opportunity to talk about more,
yeah.
going into the deeper psychology, and I wish they could have
Fair
done that.
enough.
That was my, so because yeah, it can, so many, look, we know, like I said, so many young boys, puberty hits, your hormones are pumping, pretty girls are everywhere. 13-year-old boy on Instagram, what's he getting flooded with, you know,
That's
kind of thing.
bringing that up actually very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Instagram, um, eh, no matter, okay, I'll be honest, no matter if you're 13 or near my age, it's obviously easier to deal with when you get older. But still, the
Hmm.
amount of sexuality, and this
Oh
could be a
yeah.
whole another discussion. I know, really,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just, the more that I'm on Instagram, the more I'm like, how did this come up in my feed? And how are 90% of them kind of half wearing clothes and aren't? Not naked or anything, obviously, but
Yeah.
um, it's just this feed the whole time.
Yeah.
And I mean that's hard enough for me. Imagine someone who, as you say, at that age is just getting all these things going on.
Yeah.
Instagram, as an example, which is a very good example. Instagram
Yeah.
are very. I was going to say good, but that's a nice word. Instagram are very wily. They work out exactly what you look at, how long you look at it, and what to then take from that and then put it into your feed very subtly. Until
Hmm.
after a period of time, you go back into your feed and it's like, what? All of that? It's like, oh shit, probably back when I thought about this, when I clicked on that, when I liked this photo. And between you and me, 90% of the women on there, or who'll say, hey, Gareth, look, click this link, you know where it's going to go. Just sad. It's
OnlyFans.
very sad. Very sad. Very, very sad. But yes, sorry.
Link in bio.
Link in bio.
That's what they
Like,
always say.
you don't like what I wrote. In fact, you have no idea what I wrote. You just like, oh, so wonderful. Link in my bio. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But
I get
going
it
back
as
to
well.
your point, someone who's 13 and is just getting into all these hormones, social media. Carry on.
Dude.
That's a whole nother discussion. Carry on, sir.
Yeah, and yeah, so you get this incredible overstimulation, of social media, free pornography. Let's not even. I mean, they even discussed pornography in the thing. It's like it's free. Anyone can access it. You don't have to click this whole like "Are you 18?" kind of thing button.
Oh, or even if you do, you just click on the button. There's no one
exactly
who's at the front door waiting.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to click. No one's there to watch you. It's like literally you can click a button and you're in. Not like years ago when it was a bit of a system. Now it's like you just go click and you're in.
Yeah. So then you've got these young boys, incredibly impressionable. Your mind is not your mind is always malleable. Your mind can always change, but at that age you soak up everything. Hey, and you don't have the mental capacity to go, hold on a bit, let's just critically think about this.
Yeah.
Some kids, yes, some kids can. They'll be like, hang on a minute, but when you're coming with that flood, it's very difficult. And then and then you get combine that with maybe the young boy has an absent father, or has not been. We saw that with those kids in that public school. There's no boundaries set at all by parents, by teachers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, and then what happened? That the kid's dad in the series, he was out. He's a plumber. He works long hours. The kids are out doing whatever. They're not at home. They're not at home doing their homework, being present in the home. They're out flipping doing heaven knows what.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so, so you're getting that, and then also you're now getting the kids are then becoming maybe sedated. Maybe they are at home, but they're spending all of their time online
on screens.
And social skills plummet.
Yeah,
like normal social skills. And remember, and this is where we go into more of the sort of that incel culture that you also wanted to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Specifically social skills when it comes to talking to girls.
Yeah.
And that is a skill in itself.
Yeah.
That so many guys are so unaware of. I had to learn it.
Yeah.
I was terrible, and I had to change things in order to just get better socially when interacting specifically with girls. And unfortunately, that's something that's something that a lot of these boys are losing. And then they're also being influenced online by going, well, all these girls are just being objectified, so that's how I must now treat women in the real world. That's what their thinking is.
Yeah.
So please.
No, I was just gonna add something. I can still remember, and thankfully I wasn't scarred enough to be all mad and hate women. So I thank God for that. But I must have been. It was at a music camp, I think. Anyways, it was at a. It doesn't matter where it was. It was It was the the sorry. So yes. It wasn't a music camp, and the hall was was like there and going, and there were desks and chairs or whatever for the learning blah blah whatever it was, and there was a girl which I had liked, and I said to her while I was moving things around, she said, hi, would you like to go out with me? and she had a few of her friends next to her, and the looks that were very obviously like, what the? And they looked at her. She said, crazy how I remember this from 30 something years ago, more actually.
Those
She
things
said,
will stick.
dude, this is now bringing your point home. She said, she looked at me, looked at them, looked at me and says, with who? With you. And I just remember going back, feeling absolutely like just like, and I tried to cover it up by going, no, with this chair. And then I got all red and embarrassed and pretty much left the hall. It's crazy how I can think about that. And are there feelings of hurt there now? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to spend some time alone now. No, the point being, um, I probably brought that up with my mum or my dad. So my point is, I had a stable enough environment around me that it didn't turn into something incel style.
Yes.
It didn't turn into something that could have been way worse because of my background, because of my foundation. With this boy, and with a lot of the boys there, their foundations weren't that strong.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's and yeah, I mean, it's so many of these guys, especially now because they are not um they're not the kind of guys at the moment that girls find attractive. So they and a lot of times what these guys will do is they'll revolve so much of their lives around either just getting a girlfriend, being in a relationship, or just maybe they just want to still trying to have sex for the first time,
Yeah,
but they're just getting constantly rejected.
yeah,
And you can understand how that um, can manifest in a lot of anger, um, if if as a guy you sort of don't understand how the dating world works, and how and so many of these guys, because they've been so because they spend so much time in this time online, their social skills are at an all-time low. That stuff is in a deficit. So when they do try and talk to a girl, it comes out kind of all wrong, and um, they don't have those necessary skills, and then it just compounds, one on top of the other, and before you know it.
and also, unfortunately, and it's not lambasting the girls as well, but there are some girls who also at that point, I mean, she's like 13, 14-year olds. She also doesn't know how to handle, you know, these guys. Does he like me? Does he not? What do my friends think? What are they not thinking? I think it's
Yeah,
just a hot pot of a mess. I mean,
yeah,
at the age of 13 and 14. And the problem is, and you brought it up, is that it's so like if he fails and his friend next to him fails, that's going to be the discussion, which then grows to other friends, which then grows to chat sites that talk about it, which then grows to a bigger point. And there we have someone who is now enmeshed in
yeah,
this different culture that after a time, because his friends think it's true, and there's another 10, 20, 30 like-minded boys as well thinking, yeah, this is bullshit, guys, man. What are we going to do about it? Because this is wrong. That's when you have
yeah.
problems.
And then suddenly what happens is they find themselves in a chat room, but they find themselves being accepted they find
There we go.
themselves
There we
belonging.
go. Yeah,
They
yeah,
find
yeah.
themselves
And that's pretty
belonging,
much
and then
what they're
yeah,
looking for.
yeah. Everyone's looking to belong. Everyone's looking for acceptance, social acceptance. Guys want acceptance from girls. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Girls want to be accepted within their friend group of other girls. If a friend group if a girl's friends group ostracizes a girl, oh man,
Oh,
that can
girls are worse
affect.
than boys, I think.
Woo,
Girls,
man, let's start. That's a complete
boys are
different topic.
physical. Girls are mentally and emotionally violent
It
at
can be,
times.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
it
because yeah,
can be.
guys,
It can be.
yeah, guys fight in the physical, girls fight in the psychological.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it can get crazy. We
Oh
know
yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's nuts.
Carry on.
um, yeah. So um, and what and yeah. So and the problem is, yeah, with these guys, they they um they end up putting almost too much energy and effort into the whole thing of, women dating, um, sex, getting a girlfriend, being in a relationship, um, and the and they end up not putting more of that time and energy into finding their own purpose and finding their own path in life, which
Well,
will in
at
turn in a
13,
lot.
that's quite hard though.
Yeah, I know. In 13, but I mean,
Let's
as
be
a
honest.
sorry,
13 or 14.
I'm sorry. I should have mentioned. I'm talking about the older guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just thinking at 13 or 14, you're just trying to work yourself out, let alone somebody
Yeah,
else.
but then again, a present father who is aware of that will be instilling that in his son
Absolutely.
from,
Absolutely.
and that's
But,
why
but
it's
now,
so
but now,
important.
does that mean though, because because his father wasn't a present father and wasn't a good father, does that give his actions a slight pass?
No,
The
no,
consequences are the consequences. You can still blame your
no ways.
father, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
your
you
actions
still,
are
yeah,
your actions.
you still made the choice. That
Yeah,
choice was yours.
yeah.
You
A
can't.
final choice.
You
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. You decided to step over that line,
Yeah, yeah. So I
and
think there are definitely people involved. I would imagine in the incel thing, going back to them, although we are kind of
mm,
almost done for now, but whatever, is that there's a lot of gentle pushing from the back, gentle pushing as to, come on, guys, let's go out and you're going to do what we want to do. And it almost feels like once you're in that group and you're accepted, you're kind of like, it's something's going to happen if you don't get out of there in enough time.
yeah. Yeah, you got. I mean, I will think back to my journey with that. I was very much a late bloomer, and I realized I realized that I could have gone down a little bit of a sort of mentally just a little bit of a darker path if I didn't sort things out
Yeah,
and didn't change things up, for myself. And I had to do a lot of that. And no one came to me and said, we've had this discussion before, but
yeah,
no one came to me and said, listen, Bruce, I think there's a problem and you need to sort some stuff out.
yeah,
I looked at myself and went, there's a problem. I need to sort some stuff out.
yeah,
And sort of had to change a couple of ways about how I thought. I had to, and I, I found the right type of advice and education online that really helped me. Thank goodness. I could have found a lot of the wrong stuff,
yeah. Absolutely. That's
you
half the
know,
problem.
but I found I was able to find stuff that really just helped me understand social skills regarding women, how dating actually works, all of that kind of thing. And when I put those small things into practice, I realized, like, oh, wow, it actually does work. And that
Yeah,
gave me so much more confidence
yeah,
in that whole world, which was, and it's great. And unfortunately, a lot of these guys, they tend to have this more sort of doom attitude where it's like, well, it's pointless. It's just pointless. I'm not even going to try anymore.
yeah.
And they just
And the
downward
problem,
spiral. And
that's a
yeah,
that's right. Go. Okay,
yeah, it's
so
just it.
what I was going to, yeah, sorry, go. That's fine. You can go.
Yeah, they just have this sort of really hopeless attitude of like,
I was
well,
going to
I'm
exactly bring that
not.
up.
Yeah, I know in the series they talk about this whole thing called the red pill and all of that. That's for another discussion. But one of the things with regards to incels is this whole mental mindset called the black pill, where it really is just like
darkness.
It's never going to happen for me. I'm doomed. I'm ugly. I'm short. I have a toe growing out of my head. I'm never going to get a girlfriend. I might as well just whatever. And that's the problem. They don't realize that there are actually ways that you can improve, but you have to put in so much effort. And the guys sometimes some guys just don't want to put the effort in.
Yeah, but that's when they get older. At 13, 14, 15, that's not the same conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, true.
I think the older you get, absolutely. But yes, on that note, we did say that we might want to carry our conversation into another episode. What do you think?
I think there's enough for another episode, hey?
And we can definitely talk a lot about incels and about that. And
I think we can go deeper into that side of things.
We can go deeper. And I think so. Because I mean,
whatever, man. Next episode, let's do it. Part 2.
All right, great. So there you have it. You now know exactly what our next episode is going to be. So if you enjoyed this one, you'll definitely enjoy
talking about it the night before.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good to find a topic that has meat on it, and that we feel that other people listening will also want to talk about it more. So Adolescence, I think kind of we won't really talk much more about it because I mean we have up till now. Watch the series. If you have watched it, mention maybe in the comments if you watched it, and something in there which like made you think about something. And if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. Maybe let us know next week what you guys thought about it. And then we'll be definitely back in our next episode. Is going into a little bit more in depth, and Bruce will probably talk more than me this time.
If I could just offer some just a pointer to anyone listening who hasn't watched Adolescence and is going to watch it. Obviously, online on YouTube and stuff, there are people reviewing it, and they're talking about how the one side is talking about how amazing it is, and other people are talking about how it's just this complete massive lies and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I purposefully did not look at anything regarding that. So I would encourage people not to do that. I would say watch the series and then form your own opinion, because we are so easily swayed. So like I've got, we know this. We've talked about the fact that I have listened to a lot of Red Pill content and stuff like that, and I find that stuff very interesting. So you get a lot of guys within that space were jumping on this from a negative point of view. And I purposefully didn't watch any of it. I just watched the series because I wanted to form my own opinion. You spoke about it, how much you enjoyed it. I watched it. It's probably not something I would have watched if we hadn't been doing this interview. It didn't appeal to me. I'm like, I saw the trailer. I'm like, I'm not going to watch that. I've just watched all 4 episodes. But hey, very well done, though. Very well filmed. But
anyway, well done. And how it ended was very poignant. If you don't get through the whole of episode 4, fine. Watch the last 5 minutes. I thought that was quite powerful.
It was intense.
I really did. Very intense. Very, very good. That's a very good point, Bruce. Thank you for that. Yes, watch it with your own opinions. And maybe it's a series that you're going to watch with your, I don't know, if you have a son. Maybe that's a really good movie.
Your son,
I think that might be a really good series just to sit down and watch it and chat about the feelings are there. Because I think that there could be some very good conversations that will arise out of that series. I think it's pretty good.
I think so too. Yeah.
Thank you, Bruce.
Awesome. Well, this has been the Spaghetti Junction podcast. Please like, comment. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, engage with us. Thank you so much for everyone that engaged in our last episode. Thank you. And please chat to us about this one. This is an important topic,
Yeah.
and we'd love to hear from guys, girls, whoever's watching. Just tell us your thoughts and your feelings. Tell us what you thought about the series if you have watched it already. Good,
Yeah.
bad, indifferent, whatever.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
and we'll carry on with this. We'll go more into the weeds with regards to
Yeah.
incel culture and
In
stuff.
culture and yeah.
All of that
Absolutely.
next time. Awesome.
Next week. Yeah.
Sweet.
Have a good one, people.
Good
See you guys
stuff,
later.
guys. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Adios. Bye.